Online Big Blue, will bring you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Well, it's 2020, so you know the reality of this situation is probably going to come to fruition. Colt McCoy, more than likely, is going to be either the starter or play extended plays for the Giants against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle this Sunday. There's really no way around it. I mean, unless Daniel Jones has a miraculous recovery from the hamstring, I mean, even if Daniel Jones has the ability to play, and we've said it before, the flight cross country is a killer as it is, and then you got to play Seattle, who's now 8-3, and people, I love it because I saw some fans are like, Seattle's not that good. You know, you need to watch. You need to watch Seattle a little bit before they say they're not good. I mean, their defense, is it awesome? No, but they got some players. You know, Jamal Adams, he's not much in coverage, man, but you put him on the line and he's Landon Collins. The good Landon Collins, not the bad Landon Collins. He's got 6.5 sacks, 12 quarterback hits. Bobby Wagner can still ball. You know, you got, what's his name? Reed, I think the defensive end. And then they got a couple other more linebackers, a couple other safeties, Carlos Dunlap. You know, they can still come after you, and they can still make you pay. Trey Flowers, I keep forgetting about Trey Flowers. What's his name? KJ Wright's on the team. So it's and Diggs as well. I mean, so it's not like they don't have players. They got players, and they got Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is having a Russell Wilson year. 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's second on the team in rushing. They don't run tremendous amounts with their running backs. With Carson Hyde, they kind of do more by committee. But they are more of a short passing game team who lulls you to sleep and hits you deep. So, but let's not get into that. Let's get into Colt McCoy for a second here. I actually had and I've told this story a couple times already. I had the ability, or actually I didn't have the ability. Someone invited me to Colt McCoy's pro day when he was with the Longhorns back in 2010. I was actually in town, and they worked for the publicist for the NFL, and so I got invited to attend it. And Colt McCoy had a fantastic pro day. He did something ridiculous. I think it was like 64 out of 65 passes he hit. No ball hit the ground. You know, and people thought he was going to be a higher draft pick than he was. And I laugh because Giant fans, the way they talk about him, sometimes I just think, okay, we need a little bit more history about Colt McCoy. Colt McCoy was never a first-round draft choice. And there's a lot of misconceptions about that coming out of Texas. He was actually taken in the third round, 85th overall by the Cleveland Browns back in 2010. And, he kind of fell later in the draft than most people thought. Most people thought he would go late first, early second. But like I said, he still was in, upper echelons of the third round. And he did not start right away. I mean, he did start 8 games his rookie season with Cleveland, but it wasn't like he was handed the reins and that, like I said, he is going to be the guy. That we're just going to turn the team over to Colt McCoy. I mean, at that time, and I laugh because at that time their starting quarterback was Jake Delhomme, and I think Seneca Wallace was on that team as well. So McCoy didn't get his first start until Pittsburgh, and I think that was like week 6 or so. So it wasn't like he was going to be anointed the starting quarterback. But then the 2011 season, which was the lockout season, he actually won the job, and he was the starting quarterback and played fairly well. I mean, he had 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 3 for over 2,700 yards. But the problem was he had suffered a concussion in one of the games. And his father had the audacity to call out the team and question the team whether they properly evaluated him for a concussion. And Colt even states that he doesn't remember anything after that game. It was a hit by James Harrison. It was a helmet-to-helmet hit too. And I think Harrison was also suspended for that game. I don't remember after the next game after. But like I said, it was just one of the things. He had the audacity to, his dad had the audacity to call out the team, because back in 2010, 2011, you didn't talk about these concussion things. And then Colt McCoy went back to being a backup in 2012. Then he was traded over to the 49ers. And then he, after an eventful season at the 49ers, he went over to the Washington football team. And he was finally getting his chance to start again. And you know what happened after Alex Smith got hurt? You know what happened? Then poor Colt injures his leg. He got hit by Malcolm Jenkins. So it's one of those things that Colt never in my mind got a full opportunity to show his potential as a starter. And the one time he did, like I said, he played in 13 games in 2011 with Cleveland. He had 14 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 2,700 yards. But he never he missed his opportunity multiple times. And in the NFL, that's exactly what it is. Sometimes it's a game of opportunity. And Colt was never never a full-fledged number one pick starting talent. He to me, Colt's always been a gamer. He's fairly accurate. He has a nice deep pass. Does he have the arm does he have the big time arm? No, he doesn't have the big time arm, but he has enough arm strength he's not Alex Smith. He has the arm strength to make enough of the throws. And he has the accuracy and the ability to move the ball. And he's done that periodically throughout his career. It's not like he's a stiff. I mean, in 14, again, when he got hurt, he got hurt again in 14, he started 4 games for Washington, completed 71% of his passes for over 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So when given the chance to play, he has played fairly well for a gentleman of his talent. So going into this game in Seattle, I am not seeing the Giants change much in their playbook. I really don't. Now, they will eliminate a lot of the zone read stuff for the rushing. So I mean, it's not going to be, he's not going to get involved in that because he's not Daniel Jones. And I love when people say to me, and I had a subscriber, now I am talking about you. I had a young gentleman send me an email saying, well, you wanted Colt McCoy to start. Now here's your chance to see it. And I laughed because the email was not very flattering. It was not very nice. And a subscriber actually thought I was talking about him. And I cleared up the misconception that I wasn't talking about him. But what I did want to say is I only wanted Colt McCoy to start back in the day. It's to give Daniel Jones a chance. And I've said this many times, just give him a chance to sit down and see the game, to watch the game for a few minutes. Maybe it could have been for a half. Maybe it could have been from a quarter. There's been plenty of all-pro Hall of Fame quarterbacks that were benched early on in their career. But sometimes when you sit down and watch for a minute, everything slows down. That's all I wanted. Yes, Daniel Jones gives us a better opportunity to win in Seattle if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, he is going to be more of a hindrance because he already tries to do too much as it is. So you put that added pressure on him, the added pressure potentially trying to go on, continue a playoff push, a playoff run, then mix that in with an injury, it's a recipe for disaster. Colt McCoy, and I've said this before, if you have him as a limited basis, especially at this stage in his career, because he's already been in the league for 10 years, he can win you some games. Is he going to go into Seattle and win? I would normally say no. But the way 2020 is, just in general, I wouldn't be shocked if he went out there and threw for 500 yards and 8 touchdowns. Because that's just the way this year is. I mean, of course, he's not going to do that. But, I mean, that's just the way 2020 is right now. So, I don't think Garrett's going to change much out of the playbook. Like I said, he's going to take a lot of the planned runs out. Because Colt McCoy does not have Daniel Jones's wheels. But I would not be shocked if the Giants didn't go deep more often with Colt McCoy. I think that because of his years in the league and how seasoned he is, I think they are going to trust him more to take a couple deep shots with Darius Slayton and kind of test the Seattle defense. Now I'm going to say that right off the bat. I just, and you can write it down. I guarantee I would say within the first quarter, the Giants take 2 shots deep. Only because of the fact, like I said, I do think they're going to trust Colt McCoy a little bit more with the deep ball than they do Daniel Jones. But like I said, Daniel Jones gives them a better opportunity to win the game in Seattle. Yes, but if he's hurt, no, it does not. So we just have to put our trust in Colt, put our faith in him. It was going to be a tough game anyways. So we just kind of have to see what goes on from there. And you never know. Like I said, we got to keep our fingers crossed that maybe Daniel Jones makes the miraculous recovery and he will be on the field on Sunday. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue. We're bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you could subscribe, if you ring that button, you know what it means. That'd be awesome.